The morning sun was just beginning to peek through the dense canopy of trees along the abandoned railway track when little Max, a golden-furred puppy barely 8 weeks old, stirred awake. His tiny paws stretched out, searching for the familiar warmth of his mother, Luna. But something was wrong. She wasn't there. Max's bright eyes blinked open, confusion washing over his small face. Every morning since he was born, he'd wake up nestled against Luna's soft belly, her gentle breathing the rhythm of his world. But today, the makeshift den under the old railway bridge felt cold and empty. A whimper escaped his throat as he stood on wobbly legs, his nose twitching as he caught his mother's scent. It led away from their shelter, down toward the rusty tracks that Luna had always warned him to stay away from. But Mama was out there somewhere, and Max needed her. His little paws carried him forward, leaves crunching beneath him as he followed the trail. The world seemed so much bigger when Luna wasn't by his side. Every shadow made him flinch, every distant sound made his small body tense. But he pressed on, driven by an instinct he didn't fully understand. That's when he heard it. A soft, pained whine that made his blood run cold. Max's legs moved faster than they ever had before, his puppy clumsiness forgotten as pure panic took over. He rounded a bend in the tracks and froze. There, lying on her side near the old railway crossing, was Luna. Her beautiful golden coat was matted with dirt and blood, and one of her back legs was twisted at an unnatural angle. "Mama!" Max yelped, rushing to her side. Luna's eyes fluttered open, glazed with pain but softening the moment she saw her baby. She tried to lift her head, tried to lick his worried face, but the effort seemed to drain what little strength she had left. Max pressed his tiny body against hers, trying to warm her, trying to make everything okay the way she always did for him. But Luna's breathing was shallow and labored. She nuzzled him weakly, and in that moment Max understood something profound. His mother, who had always been his protector, his provider, his entire world, needed help, and he was too small to give it. Luna's eyes met his, and though she couldn't speak, Max felt her message clearly: go, get help. The puppy's heart was breaking, torn between staying with his injured mother and leaving her alone. Every instinct screamed at him to curl up beside her and never leave. But Luna nudged him with her nose, gentle but insistent. The gesture said everything. With a heartbroken whimper, Max turned away from his mother and ran. His tiny legs pumped as fast as they could carry him, his chest heaving with effort and fear. He didn't know where he was going, only that he needed to find someone, anyone who could help. The puppy burst from the tree line onto a dirt road. In the distance, he could see houses, the first human dwellings he'd ever encountered. Luna had always kept them away from people, but desperation overrode his natural wariness. Max ran toward the nearest house, his small body a blur of golden fur and determination. An elderly woman was tending her garden when she heard the frantic barking. She looked up to see a tiny puppy, no bigger than her hand, yapping desperately at her gate. But this wasn't playful barking. There was urgency in those little cries, fear in those wide eyes. "Oh my," she whispered, setting down her watering can. "What's wrong, little one?" Max barked again, running a few steps back toward the railway, then returning to her. He repeated this action over and over, his message clear even across species. "Follow me. Please follow me." The woman, whose name was Margaret, had lived long enough to recognize desperation when she saw it. She grabbed her phone and followed the frantic puppy, her old knees protesting as Max led her at a pace she hadn't moved in years. "Slow down, baby," she called, but Max couldn't slow down. Every second felt like an eternity with his mother lying injured and alone. He kept looking back, making sure the woman was following, urging her forward with desperate little barks. When they finally reached the railway crossing, Margaret gasped. There, exactly as Max had left her, was Luna. The mother dog's eyes were barely open now, her breathing more labored than before. But when she heard Max's approaching pause, she managed to lift her head just slightly. "Oh, you poor thing," Margaret breathed, immediately pulling out her phone. Her fingers, shaking with emotion, dialed the local animal rescue. "Yes, hello, I need emergency help. There's a badly injured dog by the old railway crossing on Miller Road. Please hurry, she's in bad shape." Max had returned to his mother's side, pressing close to her. Luna's eyes found her puppy, and despite her pain, there was something like relief in her gaze. Her baby had done it. He'd brought help. Margaret knelt beside them, her hand gently stroking Luna's head. "You're going to be okay, Mama. Help is coming. And your baby, oh, your brave, brave baby. He saved you." The 15 minutes it took for the rescue van to arrive felt like hours. Margaret stayed with the dogs, talking to Luna in soothing tones while Max refused to leave his mother's side. He licked her face, whimpered encouragement, and when Luna's eyes would start to close, he'd nuzzle her until they opened again, as if willing her to stay with him. When the rescue team finally arrived, they moved with practiced efficiency. Sarah, the lead veterinarian, assessed Luna quickly. Looks like she was hit by something, maybe a bike or small vehicle. Broken leg, possible internal injuries. We need to get her to the clinic now. As they carefully lifted Luna onto a stretcher, Max began to panic. They were taking his mama away. He barked and tried to follow, his little legs scrambling to climb into the van after her. "Bring the puppy too," Sarah said softly, scooping Max up. "These two need each other." The ride to the animal hospital was a blur. Max was allowed to stay close to Luna, and he pressed himself against her side, feeling the rise and fall of her labored breathing. He was scared, more scared than he'd ever been, but he was with his mama, and that was all that mattered. At the clinic, Max was gently separated from Luna as they took her into surgery. He cried out, his little voice breaking with distress, until a young vet tech named Emily picked him up and held him close. "SHH, little hero," she whispered, tears in her own eyes. "Your mama's in good hands. She's going to fight hard because she has you to come back to." The hours crawled by. Max refused food, refused water, refused comfort. He just sat by the door where they'd taken his mother, waiting. His tiny body trembled with exhaustion, but he wouldn't sleep, wouldn't rest. Margaret had followed to the clinic, and she sat with the puppy, talking to him gently. "You know, little one, I saw what you did today. I've lived 73 years on this earth, and I've never seen love like that. You ran into the unknown, faced your fears, all to save her. That's the bravest thing I've ever witnessed." Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, the surgery door opened. Sarah emerged, pulling off her surgical gloves, and the smile on her face made Max's tail wag for the first time in hours. "She's stable," Sarah announced. "The surgery went well. Her leg was badly broken, and she has some bruising internally, but no major organ damage. She's going to need a lot of recovery time, but she's going to make it." Max barked, a sound of pure joy and relief, and even the hardened veterinary staff found themselves wiping away tears. "Can he see her?" Margaret asked. Sarah nodded. "Actually, I think that would be good for both of them." They led Max to the recovery room where Luna lay on a soft bed, her leg in a cast, IV lines running to her front leg. She looked tired and weak, but her eyes were clear now, the pain medication doing its job. The moment Max saw her, he ran to her side. Luna's tail managed a weak wag, and she lowered her head to nuzzle her baby. Max licked her face frantically, checking every inch of her, as if to reassure himself she was really okay. The reunion was so touching that Emily grabbed her phone and snapped a photo. The image of the tiny puppy pressed protectively against his recovering mother would later go viral, touching millions of hearts around the world. Over the next few weeks, Luna recovered slowly but steadily. And through it all, Max never left her side. The clinic staff had never seen such devotion. The puppy, who should have been playing and exploring like any normal pup his age, instead stayed glued to his mother's bed, only leaving when absolutely necessary. Margaret visited every day, bringing treats and toys. She'd already made up her mind. When Luna was well enough, both dogs were coming home with her. Her house had been too quiet for too long, and these two had already claimed a permanent place in her heart. The day Luna took her first steps on her healing leg, the entire clinic staff gathered to watch. She was wobbly and uncertain, but Max was right there beside her, supporting her with his small body, encouraging her with gentle nudges and happy barks. Sarah watched with a full heart. "You know," she said to her team, "we see a lot in this job. We see the worst of what humans can do to animals, and we see the best. But this reminds me why we do what we do. That puppy's love saved his mother's life. And their story, it's going to save so many more." And it did. The video of Max's rescue, combined with the photo of their reunion, sparked a wave of donations to the animal rescue. Hundreds of other animals received the help they desperately needed, all because of one tiny puppy who refused to give up on his mama. 6 months later, in Margaret's warm, sunny backyard, Luna lay on the grass, completely healed except for a slight limp that gave her character. Max, now a gangly adolescent still growing into his oversized paws, bounded around her in playful circles, trying to coax her into a game. Luna watched him with eyes full of love and pride. Her baby, her brave, beautiful baby who'd saved her life. She stood, her legs strong now, and joined him in play, their joyful barks filling the afternoon air. Margaret watched from her porch, a cup of tea in her hand and a smile on her face. She'd spent 73 years believing she'd seen everything life had to offer. But these two had taught her that love, real love, knows no bounds. It doesn't consider size or odds or fear. It just runs forward, heart first, and refuses to give up. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's exactly what changes everything.